Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Targeting the Youth. And today, as you know, we're going to talk about Mattias Samuelsson. So, let's take a look at this young stud of a defenseman that we have. And here he is. How'd you like to try and get past that guy when he's in a bad mood? Hey? Okay, let's look at his profile. All right, 6'4". He's 22 years old. He's still a kid. He's 22 years old, 6'4", 227 pounds, folks. And you can clearly see his numbers. Nothing to write home about, but we know, as fans, we know what this guy's about when he's on the ice. Pick number 32, first pick in the second round in 2018. And let's just take a look at a bit of his numbers and we'll chit-chat a bit about him. Here we go. Okay, so the one thing that stands out there in the negative is the -8, -10, but let's keep in mind what teams he's been on, what teams he's developed on, and so on. All his points are even numbers. He hasn't scored an NHL goal yet. He has 70 blocks in 54 games, and he has 120 hits in 54 games. And the 10 takeaways, but 32 giveaways. But keep in mind, guys, again, this is a young forward, a young defenseman that is just getting better and better and better. And better. This guy, folks, is the real deal. A few of you had pointed out to, I just wasn't sold on him right away, but at the same time, at the time I wasn't sold on him, I knew he was one of our high-end prospects, you know what I mean? But was he going to become a real, but the way he turned the corner last year, the way this guy turned the corner last year, I was shocked. I got to tell you, maybe if I was going to say our most improved player last year, beside, of course, you think of Tage and Skinner, right? Well, let's say, and Dahlin turned it around. A lot of guys did, but Samuelsson very quietly did his job. This guy just came in to the fold, and he just made his presence felt out there, guys. I loved him when this guy plays. When he's out there, put it this way: if we're in Game 7 in overtime, I want this guy on the ice. Okay, that's how I feel about this guy. I want this guy on the ice. I want him and Dahlin on the ice. If it's Game 7 in overtime. These would be my two picks right now. Right now, this very second. Not Owen Power yet, it's too soon. But right now, this very second, I would want Samuelsson and Rasmus Dahlin out there opening Game 7 in overtime on the ice. And this guy he's physical, he's big, he's a team guy. You see him when he's mic'd up, he's funny, he's got a big sense of humor, which I didn't know. Is a good sense of humor, this guy in the dressing room. There's so much to like about him, guys. There really is, and I think we really made a good pick here. It's not just, I won't just say it was Adams only that made good picks in the draft. This was a good pick. This was a smart pick. This pick has really worked out. What's he going to cost in the future? I don't know. He's running into his contract, right? Am I right about that? Let me just check something, guys. Something I should have maybe checked on before the video, but let me go to Cap Friendly. I think he's got 1 year left, and that's it, right? It's next year. He's could be wrong. No, it is. He's in the final year. Right. Entry level. Yeah, of course. Okay, so he's RFA. We got to try and lock him in ahead of time, like we've done some other guys. Really. We have no defensemen locked in. It's time to start getting them locked in and at a good price. I'm hoping that these guys take good prices and take even good term would be nice too. I'd love to get him locked in for 4 or 5 years, at a good price. I don't know what a good price is. What do you guys think? Would you lock him in for $4 million? I would, because I think the writing's on the wall, what he's going to become. This is a beast of a defenseman. But we want to be smart with the money. If we could get him at 2.5, maybe for a few more years, and then he comes into money, would really help, because it's going to buy us some time, for the cap to raise, and let us settle things out with our blue liners, who's getting what, who's making what, because Darlene's going to cost a fortune, and so is Owen Power eventually also, you know, so. But I'm thinking we don't want to have to sign Power and Samuelsson all at the same time, but we got all sorts of guys we're going to have to sign at the same time very soon. This is not good. The blue liners are going to be studs this year, and we got to get them all locked up. And this guy is going to he's going to command, I'm guessing, say 3.5. I think 3.5 might be the sweet spot for a guy like Samuelsson. If lock him in 3 years at 3.5. What do you guys think of that number? You know, I mean, he's a good enough defenseman that he can command that. And his numbers right now aren't great. If his numbers get better in this league that we're in now, if you got the numbers also, not just the defensive play, but if you got the numbers also, you know, I think I'm looking a little too much at potential too at that contract. We might be able to get him a bit less, guys, I hope. You know, but he'll only sign for a few years, I'm sure. It might take a 2-year deal at 2.5 each, I'm thinking. We got to get this guy locked in, though. We do have to get him locked in and figure it out. This has to be part of our Stanley Cup core, this kid. You know, I look at our defensemen and I see, when it comes to the Stanley Cup, I see Darlene. I will throw Yoki Haru in there, Power, and Samuelsson. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not saying the other guys can't do it, but just where I feel right now, if we're going to win the Stanley Cup, those 4 probably will be on our blue line when it happens. But things happen, trades happen, right? Good trade comes across, we got to make it, so who knows? And then if you look at our forwards, there's all sorts of options that are happening. So we guys, times are changing. Times are changing, enjoy them. Don't stress about them, enjoy them. This is fun. These are good times that we have these you know, we have too many guys to sign that are good. It's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem to have. And that is where I stand with that. So get this guy locked up. Get him locked up, Adams, please. I would love nothing more than to hear they've come to terms with him on a 3-year deal or something. I'd be so happy, really. And maybe they've talked and we just don't know. Who knows, you know? We'll see. All right, guys, done. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.